Good morning guys, I hope you're all having an awesome day and welcome back to the videos where today it is a beautiful winter's morning. Probably a perfect time to be able to test out the original radiator and intercooler setup that was on this car that was overheating during midsummer to see if it was even good during winter. But instead of that, we decided to rip out the entire front end of the RX7 in preparation for the Greddy V-mount. Now I'll quickly show you guys where we have left off from the previous video. I started taking some of the car apart, but I've done a fair bit more since then. So let's get into it. So this is currently where the car sits. I have taken off everything to do with the original cooling setup and didn't actually realize just how crazy it was. The whole engine basically sits behind the front wheels and the entire front is dedicated to just cooling this thing, and I was still overheating. So there's a few more little things to come off. I have to remove the AST, I also have to remove all the piping and everything else as well, plus I also have to drain the power steering. So I'm gonna have to do that all this morning before we get stuck into anything. There is a whole lot of parts that come with this Greddy V-mount kit that I was super stressed about making sure that everything was right, and the instructions were all in Japanese. Now I could just use my phone and translate it all from Japanese, but on some old school RX7 forums, there is this bloke that actually translated and posted a complete Greddy V-mount installation guide, all like, I think it's like 20-25 pages that needed to be translated from Japanese into English. So he has done all that for us. So we're just gonna sit our laptop up here and just keep reading step by step. So I'm super stoked at that. I don't have to sit there with my phone and try and translate the instructions for this thing. Although I wouldn't normally use instructions for installing parts, with the amount of stuff that this kit came with, like, I don't know what this does, but it goes with it. So yeah, and not only that, just everything there, plus some more stuff that we have down the other side of the car, all has to get installed. So this is probably the biggest challenge automotively that I've ever had to tackle, but I have never been more stoked for a car part in my life. So I'm so ready for this. So today, I think for this first video, my main focus at the moment is to create a fan shroud for the Greddy V-mount radiator. Usually this kit utilizes the stock thermo fans, but instead of changing some of the wiring around, I already have a set of Maradyne fans. I think they're the M1131KF or something along those lines. They have an 1100 CFM. I think altogether it's probably gonna equal around 2.2. And for the radiator being right there in the front of the car, we should be fine with those fans. With the wiring and everything else set up, plus RMS already stating that they are better fans than the stock thermos, we're going to be trying to utilize those fans right there. However, on the radiator when they fitted it, I'll show you exactly what they did. So coming down here, you guys can see the aftermarket alloy radiator that I was running, and you can see the Maradyne fans. I think they're an 11-inch fan, and they are currently zip tied flat with the radiator. So they're only going to be utilizing the actual fan surface area. So what I'm going to be doing with the new Greddy V-mount is I'm going to be creating a fan shroud. So ZacBaldy Fab, here we go. You guys have already seen me create under trays and everything else as well. However, I believe that I have a lot better tools now and a lot better know-how into actually doing this. But before we do that, I'm going to quickly do a little bit of a merch block. So before we go any further, I quickly wanted to let you all know that we have a whole bunch of stock on the ZB website. So you guys can see we have the FDT right here, plus a whole bunch more stuff. And very soon, which is very exciting, we're gonna be adding a whole bunch more stuff. We're gonna be doing a drop very soon. I have a whole bunch of designs all made up, plus I also wanna go and design a whole bunch more. So we're gonna be doing heaps of stuff on that website very soon. But the ZB FDT, we also have the ZB R33T. I don't think we have any Falcon ones left. I think I discontinued them, but I'm not quite sure. I'll have to ask Jacob, but yes, anyway, that's all there. So if you do want anything, www.zacbaldy.com. Go check out the entire website. I hope you guys will find something you like on there, and I'm hoping to get some more stuff soon. But let's get back into the video. So as I said before guys, the Greddy V-mount radiator is usually used with the stock fans, but because all the wiring is there for some new Maradyne fans, I think it's going to be nice just to see if I can create a fan shroud and utilize the same fans that we were already running on the car. It's already been tuned through the Power FC, so I'm very excited. We're going to be attempting this today. I'm going to show you some of the stuff that I got to hopefully make this a little bit better. So first of all, I actually bought some aluminium this time. I didn't buy steel, which was stupid. So this stuff right here was the thickest one that I could get from Bunnings at the time. I don't really know too many aluminium places in Brisbane, but we ended up getting this. It is way bigger than we need, but I will be able to cut this down and be able to fold it in such a way that it's going to hopefully be perfectly fine with the fans and everything else on it. If not, we can use this as a template for a bigger fan shroud in the future, but I'm pretty sure we should be able to, but I'm pretty sure we will be fine with this. I believe it's 1 mil thick, we'll be fine cutting this. Now, last time we did any ducting whatsoever, I was having a really tough time trying to cut it. I didn't have any tin snips, I didn't have a nibbler or anything. I had a jigsaw and I had a grinder, and both of those things made it look woeful. So I went out and bought this thing. Now this right here is a Ryobi Nibbler. I've already mounted everything up on it, but with my Ryobi air compressor, this will work absolutely brilliantly. And what these actually do is it's kind of like a little bit of a punch. So it's nice and light, goes with my compressor, and it's my first ever air tool, which is absolutely amazing. Some of the other big battery operated nibblers, I could either get just skins of, or they didn't have them in stock and I had to get batteries and chargers and everything else as well. So originally I wasn't gonna get an air tool, but I decided to grab one. I've never actually used one before. This is gonna be very interesting, but it's gonna make cutting that alloy so much easier and so much neater as well, because these don't deform the alloy in any way, shape or form. So I'm gonna start getting to measuring and planning my design. I also don't have a metal bender or anything like what, I don't know what they're called, but I didn't have any of them. So we're just gonna get nifty with a hammer and some and my workbench. So we'll see how we go. This probably isn't gonna be the neatest thing in the world, but it's definitely gonna do the job. So let's get straight into it. So you guys can sort of see what I mean in regards to with no shroud, you only get a certain portion of your radiator actually working unless you're moving forward. In traffic, I was getting horrible heat soak issues, and I believe this is probably why. So the stock thermos were pretty good, and they also have a massive big shroud on the back, so you guys can see the fans are all reset, and it's pulling air from every part of the radiator. Whereas these fans here, we're only covering, I dare say, maybe 60% of the radiator. So what you can do is with a shroud is you make a shroud, pull it all back so it sort of sits there or so. And what it does is it draws the air through every single fin on the radiator. So these fans right here, I believe they are an 11-inch fan, and they are going to fit absolutely perfectly on the new radiator. Try not to bend any fins with a nice big shroud on it too. So they fit absolutely perfectly. So with the alloy, I'm going to quickly mark out everything that I need. So with my calipers and everything, I figured out that the edges, which are these little bits right here, which I can tap into, are 9 millimeters. The core width, being long ways, is 62.5 centimeters. The core height is 35.5, and the step up between here and here is about 9 millimeters. And I actually made it a little bit bigger because we can run some weather stripping down the sides here, and we're also going to be using that to mount up to all these little mounting brackets here also. So that is the plan. Yeah, fingers crossed everything goes well, and I'm just gonna do it. I'm not gonna, if I figure out anything I'm gonna be doing with this that I need to show you guys or anything, or I think is important to you guys, I'll show you. But for the most part, I'm just gonna do it and see how I go, because I'm a little bit stressed. Yeah, we'll work it out. Alright, so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing right here. So what I'm going to do is, there's going to be a flat edge that meets up with this right here, so we can put weather stripping on it, and that way we can seal it all off to make sure nothing, no air gets past. And then also, we're going to have it raised about 2 centimeters or so off the sides there, which is that section right there, with a 1 centimeter thing, so we can bolt it into the sides right here. I'm thinking I might be able to bolt it up here if I create some little mounting tabs just to give it some extra rigidity, but we'll work it all out. So I have never used a nibbler before, so this is going to be very interesting. Where did it go? I'm going to do a couple little practice things, because apparently this leaves oh, there we go. That's the actual cutting sort of die, I would say. Like, would it be like a tap and die, I guess? So yeah, that's how thick it needs to be. So instead of cutting exactly on the edge, I'm going to be cutting just off to the side. So I'm going to draw a couple of little lines and learn how to actually use this thing first before we do anything crazy. So yeah, here we go. Okay, so that's That's the coolest thing I've ever bought. So in comparison to my last attempt with a grinder, this is a whole lot neater. Now I'm not going to go up close and show you the edges because you're going to bag me, but that's okay. Yeah, so all the edges, I'll show you probably one of my better attempts. Which one is it? Probably this one here. So I went in a little bit also because I saw that there was one guy on YouTube who actually drilled through the corner there and it stops it from flexing and making like weird creases in the corners. So I decided to go in a little bit also, but the edges on these right here, when you go nice and slow, actually come up so much nicer. I don't have a file or anything, so I can't really, get around into all those little tiny edges, but this is a lot nicer than any other cuts that I've done into metal. So I'm stoked with that. Now I'm going to get the vacuum out and get all these little pieces because the nibbler drops all these little tiny, I watched one other guy, he called them niblets. So I'm going to quickly go in with a vacuum cleaner and get all these up so I can go back to working in barefoot on my nice new garage floor. So yeah, very nice. However, it does make a mess. This is the coolest thing I've ever got. All right, so word of warning, think before using a nibbler because I didn't wear shoes, I was stupid, and I just spent the last 5 minutes picking it out of my feet. So, this is everything that I just got out of my feet. So, be careful, think before you do anything. I just got excited and started to use it and then stepped on the whole thing, that's why I ran out my clip. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna quickly vacuum all these up. I just got a whole bunch down there and they are terrifying. So, quickly get those up. Alright, so now comes the fun part. We get to have some fun trying to bend this perfectly without distorting any of the centerpiece without a bender. So this could be quite interesting, I think. I have everything all lined up so I know exactly where I need to bend, and I'm going to try and put all of these in the back. Because as you can see, the other side of this, actually I chose the complete wrong side to mark out, but actually most of that will be cut out where all that other stuff is. So. But anyway, the actual bench here has a really nice sort of lip right here, and it's decently sturdy that we should be able to, line it up with exactly where we need to bend it. Then I can just grab this plank of wood right here, straight over the top, as you can see. And yeah, if you guys can imagine, we could literally just put that down there, and then we can bend it over the edge by holding on to the wood at the top there. So hopefully it should give us a really nice edge. I'm just going to take my time with it, make sure everything goes all good. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be bending this one here flat, so down, and then we're going to be bending the other one upwards. So this could be very annoying. I could imagine I'm going to be spending a few hours just making this all perfect, but as soon as it's all done, we should be able to mount it straight up to the radiator. But after that, we also do need to cut out 2 more holes for the fans, but we're going to do that a little bit later. So yeah, let's get into it and pray that everything goes to plan. Not too bad without a bender. This is gonna be so annoying. Alrighty, so please ignore the bends. I will do a little bit better with them. But yeah, you can kind of see where I've had to hit them with a hammer. Everything's decently straight and everything's all working, but this thing is like become so incredibly solid. So down the sides here, there'll be enough room for weather stripping. Down here, we should be completely fine to drill through both of these and put some nuts in. So yeah, that's a massive big bonus, but it fits in so incredibly perfectly. Quickly just put it back in for you. So you guys can see it covers the whole back. It's got one more side to put down now. But yes, we should be fine to put some weather stripping down the sides here. This will all be closed up with bolts anyway, so that's all good. And then we can also, if we really want to, actually it's the other side here, we can run some bolts or run some tabs to these right here. So that way we should be able to do them all up. But, oh man, I'm actually pretty stoked at how this is turning out considering I don't have a roller, considering I don't have a metal bender. I will polish it probably as well, but we'll see just how many scratches are left. So, we'll do the other side, and we should be good to go. This thing looks so much worse on camera than it actually is. Ignore the hammer bends, but we now have a shroud, which is going to work. I didn't honestly think that my first shroud would actually be usable, but it actually is. I'll quickly press it all down so you guys can see, but this is sick. Well, there you guys go. It's currently sitting there all nice and flush. All the sides are all perfect, and now they could be bolted in right now. And then it's left enough room for weather stripping down the bottom there, and then once that's all done, I guess I could just tap it all onto the weather stripping, but that is gonna work flawlessly. I'm honestly stoked. And for something that's not gonna be seen, it's fine for me. So yeah, I'm stoked. Rightio, I guess I'm going to now lay out exactly where I want the fans to go. I have so something along the lines of, I guess that's the top there, so move these around like that, and I'll mark these all out perfectly for where I want to drill some holes, and they should sit on there just like that. Oh my god, I'm actually stoked. That's cool. Yeah, I didn't think that my first piece would actually be functional, but it might actually work. And I set it up about 2 centimeters or so from the actual radiator itself, so that's going to work flawlessly. Damn, man, I'm pumped. That looks so good. Okay, so I've just marked out exactly where I need to cut the circles for the fans. So there's going to be a centimeter on this side, centimeter in the center, and a centimeter on this side here. So all the fans are going to be nice and evenly spaced out. I've also marked the center from top to bottom. So we're going to drill through this right here. And Sarah has some cotton right here. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to drill a hole through that, put a piece of hardware in there, and then make a piece of string that's probably about 14, well yeah, the exact distance between here and here, which is 14.4 centimeters. That will allow me to draw a perfect circle, and then we can go around with the nibbler once again, and we can take away all of that material, and then we can work out exactly where we need to bolt our fans in. So I'm going to quickly start drilling that right there, going nice and slow, because we don't want to press too hard on this aluminium right here, and we should be good to go. Rightio, now all that's left to do is to physically mount up the fans. So let's actually do that. Alright you guys, so the fans have now been added to the shroud and it looks insane. Very heavy, but what I'll do is I'll quickly go get the radiator, I'll set them on top and I'll show you guys what they look like. And there we have it. Oh my god, look at this. This is probably the best bit of fab I've ever done, and it's still just with a hammer and a nibbler. But yes, I'm super stoked at this. This is definitely going to help the whole cooling of the car. And even still then, it is still quite shallow in comparison to the stock fans as well. So we'll have heaps of room to be able to do stuff with, because yeah, look, there you go. That's the thickness of it. Oh, it looks so good. Fingers crossed it fits and everything goes well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly drill through the sides right here. And just fit up some small hardware, so that way we can then we can put some weather stripping on the two sides, and we should be good. Man, I am stoked. This looks so good. Alright guys, so that's probably going to do it for the shroud today. Apart from that, we're not going to be installing the V-mount in this video. However, there is a few little things that we need to do. So last time you guys would have seen this, we ended up taking the front bumper off. And a few little things. Yesterday night, I ended up taking off the intercooler, the radiator, taking out all the fans, and the AC condenser. One thing to note, when you do this kit, you will need to degas the AC. I have forgotten to do this one time and undid one of the lines, and that was not only a mess, but it hurt. And I was very lucky it didn't actually hurt me more, but yeah, no, I completely forgot. I thought it was a power steering line, and that did not work. So anyway, you must degas the AC. You have to plug at both ends of that, which I've just done with some paper right there. The only thing I haven't done yet is change the power steering fluid, because this right here, this kit, utilizes a different power steering line, so we need to drain the power steering fluid. So we'll quickly jump under the car, do that right now, and hopefully not lose too much of it. We should be sweet. Right here, so the power steering fluid is effectively draining. So I just took off the little cap there. Where did I put the cap? Somewhere. Oh god, I'm useless. The cap is somewhere. And one thing I will do after this one here, because it does go down a little bit, I will loosen off this end here and drain it from the other end, just so I don't make a mess, because I hate power steering fluid. It is horrible. So yeah, alrighty, we'll let that do its thing. And then I also need to remove this right here, so let's quickly do that too. There's just a few lines. Look how cute that little turbo is for the twin turbo. Oh my. I mean, okay. Yeah, that may need replacing soon. There's so much going on down here with the whole twin turbo setup. Man, single turbo just makes this thing so much nicer and so much more reliable. I can't wait to do a single turbo setup. Man, there's a lot that's been removed here. I'm scared. Okay guys, so all the fluids are drained, everything is removed in preparation for the V-mount kit. So you guys will see that in the next video. I'm going to try and go super in depth, because there is absolutely no one on YouTube at the moment that has done a V-mount installation from Grady and gone into and done like multiple parts and gone into like really in depth. It's a super in-depth process doing the V-mount kit. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you guys are keen for it. I'm certainly keen for it. I'll see you guys when I see you guys. Peace.